Hey, I'm J Reed. I'm the only CEO with a Mohawk, and I run Black Marketing, Social Selling, Dark Arc Marketing, Mohawk Marketing, and J Reed Mastery. So this is top 10 tips about how to use LinkedIn. This is a LinkedIn Masterclass. This is for the Asset Managers Association of Singapore. Thank you very much for inviting me. So this is my top 10 tips about how you can use LinkedIn and how you can benefit from it. But why listen to me? Lots of people out there pretend to be LinkedIn trainers or say they can do LinkedIn, and you look at their profiles and they're terrible. Say, how can you not practice what you preach? And I practice what I preach. We at Black Marketing practice what we preach. And that includes having 650 LinkedIn recommendations, the most of any entrepreneur or any LinkedIn marketing company in the world. You know, it's not just us saying actually we do a pretty good job on LinkedIn, it's actually 650 other people, which is pretty good. We're also the only LinkedIn marketing person to actually have won power profiles, and power profiles are where LinkedIn actually give you an award for having the most viewed, the most engaged profile, and I've won it 7 years running. I'm the only person running a LinkedIn marketing agency who does that. So again, it's practicing what you preach. We'll also have the 3 books. So we have the one in front of you, we have this one, which is the first one, which is all about LinkedIn Mastery. Now it's the 2nd edition, and available on Amazon, or not available on Kindle in Singapore, because did you know that Kindle in Singapore is banned? Yes, you knew that, yes. I haven't, do you know why? No, I have no idea why. The Singapore, basically it's banned in Singapore. So it's a subversive thing, Kindle. But just switch your VPN on and you can soon download it. So it's very, very good. It's obviously worth reading. And then we have the 2nd book, which is Personal Branding for entrepreneurs like yourself. And then the 3rd book itself, which is in front of you here, which literally just came out, and it's to celebrate the fact we have Social Selling 2018 this Friday at Microsoft headquarters. So we have the 5 companies. We have Black Marketing, which we've gone for 5 years now. So we employ 30 people here in Singapore, and we take over people's profiles, write their blogs, optimize their profiles, do the content marketing, basically do all the things I'm going to show you today. And then we have a 2nd brand, which basically does personal PR. So we get a lot of people, for example, in the Business Times today, you know, we've got 5 of our clients in there who are basically ranting and raving about what they feel about certain subjects, and we replicate that on LinkedIn, amplify it. And we write the post for them and we amplify it for them. And then we have a brand which actually deliberately aimed at hotels and hospitality, because it combines TripAdvisor with LinkedIn. Because TripAdvisor is B2C, but actually LinkedIn is B2B, and a lot of brands are B2B. When you take a review from TripAdvisor, put it on LinkedIn, suddenly it's a B2B platform, suddenly you generate sales. Just looking at it a slightly different way. And then we have the Mastery brand, which is what this is a mini version of. We go around the world talking about LinkedIn, talking about how people like you can use LinkedIn to achieve your personal objectives, your personal goals in a professional business context. And then we have this weekend, if you basically on this Friday, sorry. So as you're considered a client, if you want to come along to Social Selling 2018 on Friday, which is at Microsoft, we have 10 keynotes and 10 workshops. So just drop me a line, you can get a couple of free tickets, which are worth $199 each, but as you're a client, you're considered free tickets. So we've got over 300 people coming so far. It's at Microsoft HQ on Friday. We've got speakers from LinkedIn and Microsoft and SG Innovate, Hilton, Singapore Life, NTUC, for example, some really, really good speakers. And I'm not even speaking particularly a lot of that, I'm just sharing it because we want to share all about social selling. So if you want to come along to that, just drop me a line, we'll get you a couple of free tickets. But if you Google yourself, one of the reasons why it's so imperative that you invest in your LinkedIn, if you Google yourself, this is what comes up. So when I Google Shukri, who helpfully helped us with this arrangement, the first thing that comes up, without even putting LinkedIn in, is her LinkedIn profile. And it beats her Facebook and her Twitter and even her own website. Because that's the power of LinkedIn and Google. They look at how much substantiation goes into creating a LinkedIn profile. It's not a fake profile like Facebook, it's not a fake profile like Twitter. You have to put a lot of effort into it. So LinkedIn then ranked higher on Google as a result of that. Same with the company. So this is the first impression we get. A fantastic impression, very positive profile, I like it. And then if you do the same thing with the company, the Association of Independent Asset Managers comes up as well. So I hope you're all following the LinkedIn page. How many of you are following the LinkedIn page? 3 of you. Okay, yes, it's the homework straight away. You can go on the app and follow the LinkedIn page, where they update it on a regular basis. But why LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is the only global network that's actually professional across the whole of the world and accessible across the whole of the world. It's not banned in China. There's a different version in China, but you've got 50 million users there in China. So unlike Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, it's not banned in China. There's only 2 countries in the world it is banned. Can anyone name those 2 countries? Russia is one, yes, correct. Second country? Yes, North Korea, that's the other 2. I normally get people saying things like Afghanistan and Iran, but no, you can actually get LinkedIn in Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq and Syria. It's only North Korea and Russia you have problems on. And it is now reaching 600 million people. And they're all professionals. LinkedIn are, after all, going for the professionals. They're not going for the mass market. They're not going to go for the WeChat market or the Facebook market. They're going for the professional market, and that's the whole point. As you can see here, it's really spread around the whole of the world. Obviously, America has the most, as it's created in America. The UK, where I'm originally from, 25 million. But Asia is very much where it's at. China and India, second and third largest countries in the world now when it comes to LinkedIn. High penetration there. But even something like Singapore. I mean, Singapore, 2.3 million professionals. Out of everybody in Singapore, it's phenomenal. It's like 95% penetration of all professionals here. And then you've got places like Hong Kong, for example. Also high penetration, 1.7 million of their users. And then you've got countries catching up like Indonesia and the Philippines, Thailand and Vietnam, for example, which are going to grow and grow and grow and grow. As their internet speeds pick up and the middle classes pick up, they will grow in penetration, because it's the only national platform, international platform that's professional, that actually can engage across the entire world. But LinkedIn is very much a gamification platform. So gamification means the more you do on LinkedIn, the more they reward you, the more they boost your rankings, the more you can do more things. So it's worth engaging on a regular basis, even if it's just having the app, and just engage on the way to a meeting, for example, or a coffee shop, or on the MRT, because you actually get benefits as a result of that from LinkedIn themselves. And I love this quote from James Blunt, not obviously because I like James Blunt, because no one would admit to liking James Blunt in public, but I like it because it's so much about LinkedIn. I'm self-deprecating because I'm British. If I was American, I'd tell you how great I was. And it's so true. Americans have this inbuilt gene that actually says self-promote, self-promote, self-promote. Whereas English people, and Asians and Kiwis and Australians tend to be more conservative. They tend to go, no, I don't want this, I don't want the limelight, I don't want to publicize this, no, it's a team effort. Americans have no problem in saying, I did this, I led this, I won this, yes, this was me. Now the problem is, if we don't compete, the Americans get all the investment and the employees and the clients. So you have to actually realize it's professional branding, not personal. It's personal branding in a professional context. It's not family and friends, it's not Facebook, it's LinkedIn. So you have to put out there what you've achieved, because you're being judged. Whether you like it or not, people are researching you using Google, using LinkedIn, forming an impression of your personal brand, and then deciding whether to contact you, whether to engage with you. So it's down to you. So we believe there's basically 4 ways to make LinkedIn work. Personal branding, all about you. We're going to talk about that today. Content marketing, very important. You can't just have a personal brand on LinkedIn and do nothing with it. You can't just have connections and do nothing. Then you have company branding. If you have a company, or you work for a company, or work with a company, make sure that company's part of your content marketing plan. And then we have social selling. So we'll go into a bit of detail about Sales Navigator and social selling today as well. So the top 10 tips really start with your personal brand, that visual impression you get when you Google someone or you go to someone's LinkedIn page. Very powerful. People still look at visuals more effectively than they do words. So when I show you this, it's a personal brand. You know what the values he has: chaos, disruption, technology, gangster. Lots of different variations of that. In a different way, Steve wants you to know he's a coach. Now he's also on Fox Sports, but he doesn't want you to know he's on Fox Sports because he gets paid for that already. What he wants you to know is that he is a coach, presentation coach, and a very good presentation coach. Because that's his day job. That's what he really gets more, how he creates his personal brand as being a coach. Karen Jacobson here. I was lucky enough to meet her in Auckland a few weeks ago. She is the GPS girl. She is the girl that you hear on every single GPS going recalculating. She's on 1 billion devices. That's amazing personal branding. And she's captured that in terms of the market. She is known as the GPS girl. Now she doesn't make any money by just doing the GPS girl. She makes more money by doing public speaking and training and singing. But she's known for that. That's her personal branding. It's like my mohawk is, she's the GPS girl. Steve here went full, he's burgers. All he does is burgers. He makes burgers, he loves burgers, he doesn't even have a profile picture. He just has a profile picture of a burger. And he's made sure that you know that it's also about Melbourne, so he's very, very specific about where he sells his burgers. And I was lucky enough to meet Sophia the robot in Hong Kong when I was last there, and she connected with me on LinkedIn. Someone's obviously, I'm assuming it's not her, someone's obviously managing her profile for her. But even Sophia the robot has her personal branding on LinkedIn. So don't do things like this. Because as much as I might aspire to being George Clooney one day, I'm not, so I can't use his profile picture to attract more people on LinkedIn. Well, this is what I call your classic Facebook picture. And now we're in Clark Quay, so it's a perfect environment for going out there in a KTV bar, dressing as a panda, and getting someone to ask you to photograph you for your LinkedIn profile when you're drunk and singing "I Will Survive" in a KTV bar at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't do that on LinkedIn. Which one's Melita? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Why would you use a picture which has 3 people in it? It's not one person. How can I communicate with one person? And why do people use animals on LinkedIn? I don't know this at all. Particularly cockatoos. Why would you put that in your LinkedIn profile? It says nothing about your personal branding. This guy could not decide which picture to use as a LinkedIn, so he used 9. Be decisive on LinkedIn. It does reflect your personal brand. Clearly Elizabeth here went for the Tinder look, not realizing that, she is the human resources manager for a small company called Hyatt Hotels. It's not very career enhancing. And definitely don't do this. Particularly if you live in China. Not a very popular thing to do at the moment. But your overall brand is very important. Who here has seen Breaking Bad? So Breaking Bad is famous for Walter White on the left-hand side here, going from chemistry teacher to drug lord, killing everybody in his wake along the way, and he becomes Heisenberg. And his personal brand is Heisenberg. So Heisenberg has the brand values. Heisenberg is the drug lord. Heisenberg is what people fear. And he's able to then have another life as Walter White, where his family did not know he was this big drug lord, but Heisenberg had the personal branding. That put fear into people. That's what everyone has, a personal brand that has values attached to it. And it all starts with your headline. Your headline is here. So we go a lot on the Mohawk, we go on the recommendations and so forth, but it's a point of difference. And then we change the background on a regular basis because that is your advertising. Why not? LinkedIn sell this for tens of thousands of dollars a week, so why shouldn't you change it and use it yourself? Use it, use it, use it. We're using it at the moment to very much sell the social selling 2018 in the book, for example. And then every single time we share something, as you can see at the top, my headline follows me around. So why you have to decide on your headline is that your headline follows you everywhere on LinkedIn. How do you describe yourself? Now at the moment I'm using it, as you can see, very effectively to basically do a countdown to social selling. So 7 days, today says 4 days. So we're using it as a living, breathing piece of marketing. Now you can do the same thing because it follows you around. Everywhere you go. Even Stephen here, for example, tagged me and my headline popped up. Because when you tag someone, their entire name comes up as a result of it. And then when I, for example, comment back or like back, the headline comes up. There's basically nowhere on LinkedIn you can go without your headline being there with you. So really think about what you want to be known for on LinkedIn. Even the company name pops up as well. So really think through the company name and your name, so when people tag it, it markets you, it communicates you, it personalizes you. When you do a search, for example, it comes up. When you appear on other people's profiles, it comes up next to another guy called Bill Gates. So really think it through in terms of what keyword you want to be known for. How do you want your personal brand to be known? I love this one. Mike Nacky here is challenging you. Coolest guy in Nashville. Google it to see for yourself. So we did. And he is. He's the coolest guy in Nashville. Brilliant. He does SEO. He's proving his SEO works by making sure that you know it works. But your background picture is also very important. Look at this, the Ritz-Carlton. Boom, straight away, you want to be there. You love that. Euphoric coaching. Dahlia here, local entrepreneur. Very powerful branding, marketing her straight away. Ryan here, He's let you know he's an adventurers on BBC, National Geographic, Discovery Channel. Fantastic picture, really captures the imagination. They're absolutely amazing. Jane Anderson, humility is the new power, that's her strapline. On stage, because that's what she does. Her latest book. So you've got 3 different angles there. Marketing, marketing, marketing. Use it yourself. You have the power to do this yourself. It's going to be premium to do this. It works. The mobile version is slightly different. LinkedIn really haven't got a dynamic platform, unfortunately. Your picture appears in the middle on your mobile, which is very annoying because you have to have effectively 2 different pictures. So don't do things like this. Lonely and young girl. And we try to find her because she's here in Singapore on that swing in that playground. We still can't find her. Human being. Albert felt the need to put human being down here as if someone's going to put into LinkedIn, I need to find a human being. Dave Kay here felt he was a demigod. I'm sorry, Dave, that's not a picture to sell miracle health or present yourself as a demigod. Shelley Shara, wife of Stephen Shara, which is terrible. Yes, terrible, particularly as Stephen did not reciprocate. He has not got husband of Shelley Shara. Why not? He should. Because Dale has spouse of owner at Picosa Mexican restaurant. So he has no standing by himself. He's just going out with someone who owns a dodgy restaurant in Hong Kong. Lecturer at retired and enjoying time with the family. Does he look like he's enjoying time with the family? No, I think he'd rather be back at work. Steve Shah here, CEO. So I'm looking at this going, fantastic. I've just connected with the CEO of HSBC. And I looked at his profile. He's the head of digital experience. As far as I know, the head of digital experience and CEOs are completely different jobs. You can't pretend you're the HSBC CEO, which is like a multi-billion-dollar job, and actually you're just in charge of head of digital experience. Don't do that. Well, this. Managing director. I thought, fantastic. Okay, to the managing director. No, she's the personal assistant to the managing director. These things are very different. Complete your profile. It's really, really important you put your summary section in. But you capture people's imaginations in the 3 lines here. Because if those 3 lines don't capture the imaginations, no one's going to go show more. And you want people to go show more so they can read more about your biog and your challenges and your journey. And then putting videos in and putting links in, bring it to life. LinkedIn's a very visual medium. Put videos there because you can watch videos on LinkedIn. Fill out your job, your experience, and make sure it's consistent. We make sure every single person at Dark Art and Black describe the company exactly the same kind of way. And that's from our company page, brand consistency. Because it's external, not internal, and staff have a habit of describing what they do at your company, not what your company does. There's a difference between the 2. And add videos, add YouTube channels as well, so you're driving people to actually go there. And what else do you do? On your weekly search appearances, it changes every single week, so you can measure how effective your SEO has been. If you're not getting the results, change it, it's up to you. You can do it also by adding experiences in different sections. So we create companies, for example. So we created a company page for Social Selling 2018, because we could. And we added it in, and it works. And then for the Masterclass brand, because I want people to find me in different cities, I put those different cities in. So if you do work in KL, and Jakarta, and Bangkok, and Hong Kong, put them in. Because if I do a search in London, and I want someone to actually find a LinkedIn Masterclass, I won't come up unless I'm listed in London. So you can actually do as many countries as you want. We tend to have it in Shanghai, and Sydney, and Zurich, and London. We get found in those cities as a result of it on LinkedIn. And then you need to put in your keywords again. Personal branding, 65 results, 1,000 results come up, because I've got personal branding in my title. Look at hashtags. Hashtags are now phenomenally important on LinkedIn. So I put personal branding here, I hashtag it personal branding, it comes up with my content. And now LinkedIn even let you follow certain hashtags. So for example, if I follow social media and I hashtag social media, it'll come up in a feed. So at the top there now it tells you where it comes from. So personal branding, hashtag, social media, sales. And every single person following those hashtags on LinkedIn, it will pop up in their feed. So it's very important you look at what hashtags you want to be known for. You know, this guy here's got innovation. Now, not every single thing that is actually out there is actually hashtagable. So social selling, for example, bizarrely, is not available as a hashtag, so you make your own hashtag up. But innovation is. Out of all the ones he's got here, for example, innovation is the one that comes up, because you can see at the top. Which means every single person following innovation on LinkedIn, he will be seeing his feed, we're seeing his piece of content. So you can create a content marketing plan, and we believe that this is the most effective way of doing it. 411, it's not just us, it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So 411 is basically one hard sell post. So if I was to talk about black marketing, that's a hard sell post about my business. But I can't talk about that all the time, as much as I'd like to, because people will just go and unfollow me, hide my feed, and I won't be able to talk to them. I won't be able to build a relationship. So I have to do a soft sell post, which could be about social selling or content marketing, and then 4 unrelated posts, which could be about Hong Kong or Singapore. It could be about innovation or technology, nothing related to my business. Because that way people will actually engage with me, because I'm sharing legitimate, relevant content with them that they can get a benefit from. And when I hit them with a hard sell post, they're more likely to see it. So think about your content marketing strategy and try and do 411, because it does work. So think about things like short posts. So short posts are very good. Like Christy Lestout and CNN, you might have heard of. She does a fantastic way of doing LinkedIn marketing. She shares lots of things like this. These are very, very short posts. So she talks about lots of things to do in news. They get reasonable engagement, but when she personalizes it, that's when she gets the real engagement. So when she personalized the fact that Anthony Bourdain, who she obviously worked with at CNN, had died, that got phenomenal engagement. When she personalized and talked about her first Kate Spade bag when she died, again, that gets the engagement because it's personal, but it's also business as well. And that gets phenomenal engagement. So personalize things, be authentic. You know, I went to Hong Kong about 6 months ago, and my room wasn't ready at the Ritz-Carlton. So I took a picture of this because they let me use the boardroom. And I thought, that's fantastic. I come in here, complaining I'm not getting a room. They give me the boardroom for free. Wonderful. So my clients there, my clients are really impressed. Tallest hotel in the world, boardroom looks out. So I shared the post, got 55,000 views, which is phenomenal. More importantly, the person who actually owns the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong saw it. So he demanded, he's the guy in white, obviously, he demanded a meeting. He said, look, I love your post, we need to have a chat. So as a result of that, he became a client. So did the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong, so did the Ritz-Carlton in Shanghai, so did the W Hotel. So from one photograph, we did not sell my company at all, I actually got 5 clients. That's the power of content marketing on LinkedIn. It's all about authentic sharing. And you can amplify your thoughts. Stephanie's fantastic at doing this. You may have heard of Stephanie. Now, if lawyers can do it, so can you guys. Because everyone says to me, oh, you can't do this in the finance industry, you can't do this in the legal industry. Stephanie can. Stephanie does a wonderful job of actually enhancing her personal brand on LinkedIn. And she amplifies every time she's in the Business Times, she lets you know. So she's letting you know that her column is there, because more people will read her column on LinkedIn than will read her column on the Business Times. So it's amplifying, amplifying, amplifying. Even when she's in, for example, the American Lawyer, she lets you know she's in the American Lawyer. So she's presenting her brand and she's marketing herself. This is all free. She's doing this authentically herself. Let you know she is an important person, she's a leader, she's an innovator, she has an enhanced personal brand. And then she shares, her colleagues are in, for example, today. And it gets phenomenal engagement. And then even when she's quoted, she'll put that into LinkedIn too. She's letting you know every single time she's quoted or appears anywhere. So interviews and podcasts are also very important. You have an interview outside, put it on LinkedIn, it gets more engagement. Same with podcasts. Put the interviews outside or inside LinkedIn, gets more engagement. 2 great examples about people who really went from 0 to 250,000 views just by sharing content. Steve Blakeman, who used to be here in Singapore, recently did this post. 3 years ago, he had 5,000 followers. Now, by sharing authentic content, by posting, he's got 250,000. That's not by advertising, it's not by sponsoring, it's not by spending money, just by sharing content. Now, he's got 250,000 followers, gives him enormous power. And he answers every single comment. And that's the key on LinkedIn. Don't just put up a blog and don't answer people. The least you can do is thank people, like people, thank them for actually contributing, because that makes your blog go viral. It also basically is polite. They've taken the time to actually go out there and do it. You should do the same thing. Tony does the same thing. Tony went from 1,000 to 250,000 too in Sydney, just by sharing content, legitimate, authentic, compelling content. And he again shares and likes and replies to every single comment. You've got to engage. You don't just put content up, get people to react and then ignore it. You've got to engage. Very, very authentic. So you've got to be authentic. So I often come up with spontaneous posts, which have nothing to do with my company. So I love coming back from Changi. I came back from Changi Airport from a 12-hour flight in Auckland, and of course there's no queues. And I love doing this picture when there's no queues, because every other airport in the world there's millions of queues. So you share that and then suddenly you get loads of other people. This is a Friday night, so it's the worst time to post on LinkedIn because everyone's on Facebook. But you share something authentic that other people can empathize with and people will engage. 41 comments, people also saying, yes, it's the best airport in the world. Or when I crowdsource my logos, for example, you just put them out there and you get people engaging. And this does two things. It creates awareness for the brand and it engages the audience at the same time. And now you can do videos. Videos are phenomenally important on LinkedIn. And to prove how effective they are comparative to YouTube, which everyone thinks just put on YouTube it works, it doesn't from a B2B perspective. So this video about our new office in Singapore, we have now a massive office in Cecil Street, got 35 views on YouTube. And I don't know who those people are. Because on YouTube, you have no data. You do not need to register to actually view a video. Where the same video on LinkedIn got 20,000 views. And I can see every single person who liked, commented, and viewed my profile as a result, because you have to register on LinkedIn. So that is more powerful from a B2B perspective, just an authentic 3-minute video. And you can do it too. There's no reason why you can't do it. And then every single person who commented, I obviously responded back, so made it go viral over the course of a week. Works. And native videos really, really work well. So to give you a great idea, Simone Heng does a fantastic job in showing her passion for her job by sharing a phenomenal amount of videos. Normally when she's on air, and she gets a phenomenal amount of engagement because she's showing her passion for what she does. But without a video, her likes and comments plummet. People like to see her in action in the studio, like to see video. Now you can mix it up. Good example of this is Sally in Sydney. So she does videos, she does small posts like this, just putting a comment out there. She does photographs, she does infographics, but her most engaging ones are her videos. So really mix it up, and she's sharing, she's engaging, she's asking, she's really taking control of her own personal branding and her own content marketing. And you have to personalize it, you have to prove to people you've actually read the article. So I like this interview here with Rolling Stone with Elon Musk. Love him or hate him. Because apparently on the wall in the interview he says, he's got this quote. And the quote says, when you wish upon a falling star, your dreams can come true. Unless it's really a meteor hurtling towards Earth. And then you're pretty much hosed no matter what you wish for, unless it's death by meteorite. And you can imagine Elon Musk having this on his wall. But in fact, I picked out the quotes from Rolling Stone and put it on LinkedIn. So you're sharing a part of it. Or for example, this interview with the Wolf of Wall Street warns of impending cryptocurrency scam, which is like kind of ironic. So that's why I put there, it's kind of like he would know one when he sees one. You know, personalizing it. Well, Mark Ritson here, who's quite a controversial marketing speaker, talking about his ethos to do content marketing, very similar to mine. And his judgment of success is when he has 30 comments that support him, 38 comments that are neutral, and 32 people who think he's a tosser. And you think that's about right, because at least got people to engage. And there's nothing worse than having no comments at all, nobody disagreeing with you. You should also tag people. So Andrew Pickup's very good at Microsoft. He'll tag lots of people to do with lots of different products in different areas. So he tagged me on this because we use the Surface Pro. So then I tagged him back and showed me using the Surface Pro. Or this on the weekend, for example, last week, I went to Wine Connection in Singapore, down the road. And they kept on serving beer in Peroni glasses that was not Peroni. I've literally complained like 4 or 5 times and we just took a picture and did a blog about it. But I tagged the wine connection to see if they'd actually react and engage, and they didn't. But I also tagged Ron Kaufman, who's the master here doing customer service, and he did respond. So he's putting on there about why the staff should have felt actually they wanted to serve the right beer in the right glass, which was not happening. Taking responsibility for customer experience and customer service. So engage people. As a result of that, I get into Ron's 25,000 followers too. So if you engage people and they react, you get into their followers. That's how it works. Because you get notifications all the time. So when Stacey shared something, for example, I get an email from her. I also get notifications every single time. Mentioned you in a post. Mentioned you in a comment. Like to post that mentions you. So don't do things like this. Nothing at all. And I've seen a few of your profiles. They look like this. And like this. If you have lots of connections, you have a few connections, share your thoughts. They're just as legitimate as everybody else's. And things like employer branding is so important on LinkedIn, particularly in a country like Singapore. Phenomenally important. James here and the company really, really focus on how this looks, because this is all about professionalization, brand consistency. So the background is always red. The photographs here, always taken with a red background. Really, really good professional. So every single person, as you can see here, has got a red background. So they stand out. Very simple thing to do. Doesn't cost any money at all. Apart from their company page forgot to have the red background. So they've continued to do it through, but not the most obvious thing, the company page. And Jennifer here wanted to be different. She went for black. Everyone else has got red. At least she has the red background. Alison here went for different ways. She went red and white. So every single person who works for her, red and white, which works phenomenally well, because every single time I see her, she comes up. Matthew here went with the circle, the orange circle. Again, nice brand consistency. Every single person has got it, apart from Nicole, who doesn't want to work there anymore. Clearly. But again, their company page. No branding at the top. And their last post was 6 months ago. This is what happens when human resources takes over your company page. Human resources know nothing about marketing. There's a reason why they're in human resources. So don't let human resources take over your company page. Do marketing. These guys rebranded, so we put the spur on their photographs themselves. So innovation, L'Oreal, not about makeup. Or ANZ, for example, talking about too much experience, not talking about bank accounts or interest rates or where the local branch is. That's not the objective here. ANZ represent themselves as the business bank, and they're doing it through clever content. As are Marriott. Marriott not talking about how many rooms they have or the price of rooms, but productivity. They want you to know they are the business brand. They are the business brand for hotels. Qantas, nice picture of a plane. And they get to the heart of how you engage an Australian employee, and it's wine. Wine, wine, and wine. So they actually put a post on their LinkedIn company page saying, it's an unofficial but essential part of being part of Qantas that actually you go and get pissed in there every day. Not every day, but every week. They engage. Just to back up my point, the second post we found was also a picture about wine. So Qantas really cracked the nut in terms of how do you engage an Australian employee? It's wine. Emirates and Qatar, also nice pictures of planes. Really engaged with things like videos. So they had a video of how you put a plane together. Simple things. Not talking about flights or their latest rates, they're talking about engineering and how you actually put a plane together. Fantastic. Qatar went a slightly different route. They talk about how Ramadan was very important to their employees and their staff. Fantastic again. Not talking about their flights or their planes or anything like that. So don't do this. What's missing? Picture of a plane, Singapore, Marina Bay Sands, something. The Singapore girl, maybe. It's only been used for 40 years to market their brand. Why is it not on LinkedIn? Because where do Singapore Airlines make all their money? Business travellers. There's 2.3 million Singaporean business travellers on LinkedIn, but Singapore Airlines don't want to engage them. And just to back that up, this is their last post. Get cozy when you fly in business class. Book now. I look at this going, get cozy? Is that the best you can give me? And sure enough, somebody else said the same thing. Not your most inspiring message. Give us the sell. Why Singapore Airlines? Completely legitimate. It's like, why would you pay twice the price? And yes, I do think it's the best airline in the world, but say why. Don't just say get cozy. Get cozy is not a reason. But Air New Zealand do the same thing. Again, no plane, no hobbits, no fire, no dragons, no All Blacks, nothing. And their last post was 2 weeks ago. You can tell HR had this page. It's hiring a sustainability manager in Auckland. Great, if you live in Auckland, if you're in sustainability. So, Qantas, wine, let's have lots of wine, come to us. Air New Zealand's sustainability manager. I know which plane company I'd be joining. Air Asia do the same thing though. Air Asia are going up to the business market now, but not on their LinkedIn. Their last post was a month ago. They're hiring cabin crew in Kathmandu. Wonderful. If you're in cabin crew and you want to live in Kathmandu and fly Air Asia, but what about the business travellers? Why aren't you engaging with business travellers? Again, this is what happens when HR take over your company page. Don't let them. And if you have a company called clickable marketing, it's normally a good idea to have something you can click on. Can't click on that. And then you couldn't click on their page. They're called clickable marketing. They need to change their name. But market your company through you. Rico de Blanc, who I mentioned before, became a client, is marketing SHKP Hotels. Got 40,000 employees across China and Hong Kong. So we have engagement like happy employees, happy guests. Talk about their employer branding, talking about their culture. We're talking about Ritz-Carlton, where he spent 10 years, talking about how Apple learned from that, getting hundreds of thousands of views. Fantastic, very simple. He's not selling the Ritz-Carlton and the W directly, but indirectly he is. Arne Sorensen does a fantastic job, Marriott Starwood, really authentic. Moving with purpose on Global Running Day, making sure that people can relate to him. Talking about how success is never final, which is a favourite saying of Bill Marriott. And this is a dig at Trump. On Labour Day, he has Ismata, who was his best customer service, and she's an immigrant. And he wanted to highlight the fact that actually the best customer service people at Marriott were immigrants. And he shared this on LinkedIn, very risky thing to do, but part of his branding was appealing to employees who he knows can empathise with Ismata and him rather than Trump. Look at the Marriott page, it's 750,000 followers, so it has more followers than him, but the engagement levels are less. Same with Richard Branson, who has 18 million followers, puts all his blogs out here about how he's about culture and entrepreneurialism. But the top Virgin company is 120,000. That's less than 0.05% of people bother following a Virgin company than follow Richard Branson himself. Because people follow leaders on LinkedIn. They don't follow company pages. The engagement levels on the Virgin page is pathetic comparative to his. So it's all about leaders, it's all about personal branding, it's all about you. It always starts with the leader. I wanted to show a nice local example. So I tried to find the CEO of Singapore Airlines. Couldn't find him. He's not on LinkedIn. There's a shock. But Mary is. Mary's the CEO of Singapore Airlines, apparently. Stock Exchange don't know this, but apparently Mary is claiming it on LinkedIn, and no one's objected. But everyone knows this, Singapore Airlines girl. The most famous, iconic girl being used since 1972. As the face of Singapore Airlines, it differentiated when it had like 2 planes. But they have a big employer branding. If anybody's been on Singapore Airlines recently, how many girls actually are from Singapore? They're normally from Thailand or Malaysia or India or China. They're not from Singapore, because Singapore girls no longer want to be the Singapore girl. It's kind of ironic. But that's partly because they're not allowed to share on any social media platform. So every single person I could find on LinkedIn does not have their uniform. And I asked a friend of mine, why does nobody who works for Singapore Airlines share any pictures of working for Singapore Airlines with their uniform? Apparently, if they share on any platform, they are immediately terminated. Tends not to encourage you to share things if you're immediately terminated. Now you would have thought that sharing in fantastic places like Paris and New York, Moscow and London, in your uniform saying what a wonderful job it was would inspire people to actually want to become cabin crew. But no, they're not allowed to. They're missing a trick. They don't understand social media. And you can see that by Silkair, which, as you may know, is closing and being merged into Singapore Airlines because it's failed as a brand. The LinkedIn page sums it all up. Nothing on it. No one's following it. No branding. No one cares about it. Now, the key to sharing things can often be another platform. So YouTube, SlideShare, and PointDrive. So you can put your videos on YouTube, which is free. Share it on LinkedIn. Put it on blogs. You can watch the videos. You can watch the profiles on the profile itself from YouTube, which is fantastic. You don't need to actually go to YouTube to actually view it. You can actually view it on LinkedIn, which is fantastic. But you have to download the content yourself. So I was on Channel News Asia doing Coffee with the Boss. Now I downloaded it because if Channel News Asia delete that copy, I've lost my copy. So whenever you do interviews, always download it and make sure you have a copy. Absolutely essential. SlideShare is another LinkedIn platform where you can actually put up your credentials, for example, and content. Absolutely fantastic. And if you do a search, for example, on LinkedIn, there lots of our decks come up. Again, it's free. SlideShare is completely free. But the best one is PointDrive. So PointDrive is connected to Sales Navigator, which I'm going to go into my final point. And actually, by uploading a deck, which we do our recommendations deck, for example, we can check every single person who's viewed this deck and who they are, and for how long they viewed my deck and which pages. Phenomenal data. Nowhere else you can actually tell if someone's viewed your deck, for how long and which pages and who they are. But you can on PointDrive. And PointDrive is only on Sales Navigator Team. So that's the fantastic thing that enables you to use data on LinkedIn to find out who's actually engaging, who's researching your brand, who's researching your product. It's on PointDrive. That's all connected to LinkedIn and Sales Navigator. Because it's not what you know, it's who you know. Nothing more amplified that than The Godfather. Of course, relationships, relationships, relationships. And everyone knows Kevin Bacon, the Kevin Bacon story. You're smiling, you do. 6 degrees of separation. There was a time when Kevin Bacon knew every single actor or was connected to every single actor by 6 degrees. And LinkedIn's now put it even shorter. It's now 3 degrees. So I have 11,000 connections in Singapore. But that's only important because it allows me to reach 300,000 second connections and 1.4 million third connections, which allows me to have about 1.8 million connections in Singapore alone. So I can basically reach about 90% of everyone in Singapore by having the right kind of connections. Because it's quantity and quality. It's a mixture of the two. Because I also repeat this in my other markets. So in Hong Kong, I reach 1.4 to 1.7. In Sydney, I reach 1.9. In Shanghai, 1.7. And in London, where I haven't been for 10 years, 3.2 million. So I can reach 3.2 million entrepreneurs and founders and CEOs in London by having the right kind of first connections across the world. Because people ultimately buy people. Nothing amplifies that more than Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, people are either buying into him or not, as the case may be. He's the ultimate kind of Marmite brand. Which is the ultimate thing about social selling. It's all based on relationships, about personal branding, about nurturing. And there are 12 different ways to actually communicate with people on LinkedIn. I'm only going to show you 4. First one, who viewed your profile? You've spent all this work and all this effort enhancing your personal branding. So when someone comes to view your profile, follow up. What are they interested in? Ask them, thanks for viewing my profile. How can we help? How can we talk? How can we work together? Second one, invitations. You can actually have a whole conversation on invitations. So you can reach out to anybody with a message. Don't just put any message, personalize it. So when I go to a different city, I say, hey, I'm going to be in this city, let's connect. And by the way, I'm going to be there to talk about LinkedIn. Do you want to have a chat? Don't just basically just spam people and just put connect, connect, connect. Don't do that. Personalize it, personalize it, personalize it. Because people can respond on invitations. Congratulate people. We spend a lot of time congratulating people, engaging with people, so you congratulate people. So it's a positive thing, and it's a way of social selling at the same time. Put a personalized message on there. Now we use scripts for everybody. because you have to be prepared. You have a team. I have a team who work on my account. We have a team who work on clients' accounts. So you have to have a script. And you notice the point drive is in the script. So I can tell who viewed the point drive as a result of the script. The fourth one is the magic of LinkedIn, Sales Navigator. This is the ultimate way you can actually use the data on LinkedIn to actually find clients. It allows you to search for anybody, anywhere, and create target lists, which is what these are here. And then LinkedIn tell me if I've got new targets, new leads. So I connect with you, I get access to your first connections, they become my second, their second become my third. So it enables me to actually find people across the world, and if they happen to move country or they happen to start on LinkedIn, it'll pop up. LinkedIn will actually tell me I have new leads. Becomes your pipeline if you set up your target list succinctly. And then the target list themselves look like this. So this one's 2,000 people, self-employed, 1 to 10 in Singapore. And I can tell who posted on LinkedIn. Very important, because it means they're actually active on LinkedIn. You want to target people who are active. Because like any social media platform, you have to be able to tell who just registered and who's actually using the platform. This tells you these people actually posted. If they also happen to be premium, they have this orange badge. If they also happen to be open profile, which means you can actually target them for free, they have that badge. But you can only see this on Sales Navigator. I can see people who have changed jobs. Very important as well, particularly from your point of view and my point of view. Because people make decisions to change agencies or invest in different ways once they start a new job. I can also see people mention the news. Again, good from your point of view and mine. You can look at people and what they're doing with their assets, for example. I can look at what they're doing in their marketing, and actually you approach them as a result of being in the news. And then I can see my leads on Sales Navigator and what they're doing in the news. I can see if they've changed jobs. I can see what they've shared. Now the benefit of this is if I like or comment on this, Mark gets notifications saying Chris has liked or commented. And that's socially selling me, because remember my headline? My headline's reminding him we do social selling, we do LinkedIn. So next time Mark wants someone to do his LinkedIn, he's going to go, oh yes, that's the guy who keeps liking, sharing and commenting. Front of mind, front of mind, front of mind. It's selling without selling, it's social selling. Now the best one on Sales Navigator is open profile. So open profile, you can decide to be open profile once you have Sales Navigator. Allow someone to contact you for free. Now you might have heard of Eduardo Saverin, last week's Forbes list. He was number 2 in Singapore. He's the second wealthiest man in Singapore. They have $9 billion worth of assets. So if you want to pitch him, you can actually do it on LinkedIn. Because Eduardo is an open profile, which means you can send him a message for free. Don't do it all at once. Don't go, Chris said I can message you for free and he'll invest in my business. But you can message him for free. So he's out there because he's got this little symbol for free. As opposed to Darius here, who's not open profile, and you have to spend an in-mail, which is a premium and is limited to 30. So if you have no in-mails left, and you're already trying to connect with him and he doesn't connect with you, you can't connect with him again, you can't contact Darius. So who are you going to contact? The multi-billionaire Eduardo Saverin or Darius? I think it might be Eduardo. So in summary, you all have reputations, I have reputations, every single person has a reputation. And it's formulated by things like LinkedIn. Everyone remembers the film Gladiator. He came back to Rome, the evil emperor tried to kill him and thought, I can't just kill him, I need to kill his reputation. And it made him stronger. His reputation made him untouchable. They had to besmirch his reputation and failed. I know this from personal experience, because my reputation wasn't so good about 6 years ago and I got fired for writing a blog about taxi drivers. You Google Chris Reed taxi drivers, you can still see the abuse I got at the time. Very deservedly. I was very naive at the time. But I got fired on front page of the newspaper and lots of other newspapers as well. So I had to rebuild my reputation. 6 years later, virtually to the day, front page of the Business Times, much more respectable publication. With the mohawk, of course, about an example about what to do and how to do it. A good example as opposed to a negative example. But it's very much a lesson learned about reputation can basically kill you or make you strong. Which is why we now have 650 recommendations on LinkedIn, because the amount of work we do on building other people's reputations. So what's stopping you doing the same thing? It's actually time. Time, because it takes so much time to do it. It's why I created Black Marketing. Because it takes so long to actually do this, that we do this for people like you, entrepreneurs, CEOs, C-suite, VPs, directors, on a daily basis. And I have my culturally diverse team doing it for you. And we have social selling coming up on Friday. So if you do want to come to that, you want to learn more about social selling, send me a note, then you get a couple of free tickets. And if you do like the talk, please do recommend me. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much for listening. Questions? Stunned into silence. Yes?
Can you just explain, using LinkedIn, what you can do with the basic package and what, why we should go to, let's say, Navigator?
So 9 of the 10 points you can do with the basic package. Only number 10 you can't do with the basic package. So Sales Navigator is the only thing that you can't do on there if you're not premium. The reason why you do Sales Navigator is for the target list, the data, the open profiles, the ability to find the right people in the right kind of way. You can't now do as many searches on the main one for free as you can do on Sales Navigator. So if you want to find specific people, it's harder to do it on the main LinkedIn. If you want to do sales, you have to have Sales Navigator. So that's the major difference. If you're not in lead generation, or you don't want to find, say, partners or investment partners, for example, then you probably don't need Sales Navigator. You can just use the main one. But there's a limited amount of searches you can do. And there's limited things you can do then. Everything else you can do the content, the profiling, you can do everything else, but just limited the amount of people you can actually search for and connect with. That's the major difference. No questions? Yes?
You can get invitations from lots of people. So how do you selectively decide on who you should accept and who you like?
It's a very good question, very good question. It's all about your criteria. So what we go with our clients, for example, we go through with the criteria. Who do they want to be connected to? In which countries, in which companies, at what level? So you basically have a certain criteria. So for example, I reject probably 3/4 of connections, and we have to basically even delete people to add people to mine, because you have a 30,000 limit on LinkedIn. So I reached that about 4 years ago. So as a result of that, I'm the only person in LinkedIn who doesn't have a single connection in India, because I had to delete them all, because basically we don't do any business in India, so I got rid of them all. And I haven't got hardly any in America, because we don't do that much business in America. So most of my connections are CEOs or C-suite in Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Sydney, Auckland, Zurich, London, because that's where our business is. So you have to make your 30,000. I know it sounds like a lot, you're thinking that's a lot. It's like, it's not a lot. There are 600 million people on LinkedIn. 30,000 is not a lot. So you do have to go through a criteria to actually make sure that someone thinks you're worthy enough to actually connect with. So if somebody tries to connect with me and they've got one connection, I don't connect. If somebody clearly has a profile they haven't put much effort into, I don't connect. It has to be more than, say, 500. So my team have permission to delete people in America or elsewhere and add somebody else if that person fulfills our criteria. And we do the same thing with our clients. Our clients just want to connect with certain people. We just connect with those people. We go after those people. That's the benefit of Sales Navigator. You can actually specifically go down to a criteria of who that person is. Is that person even active on LinkedIn? That's also important. How many shared connections they have with you, and look at how substantial they are before connecting, then send a nice personalized message. But it is very, very important you do quality and quantity. So you should do both. You should connect with everybody in this room today, every part of the Asset Managers Association, both here and elsewhere. Connect and reach out. So do think about how you connect. Yes? So say again, when does 411 get annoying, did he say?
The 411 rule.
Yep. Okay, so it's a very good question. So 411 is basically your content marketing strategy over, say, a week. But it should be applied for a day as well. So ideally, you should do one hard sell post for every 6 posts you do, 1 soft sell post, and then 4 unrelated posts. So if you just apply that in your mind and thinking, I've just shared a hard sell post, I need to share a soft sell one now. So you can always use a platform like Buffer or Hootsuite to actually plan your content. So I'm posting now, even though I'm here with you, because I'm using Buffer. Plan my content. I'm also hitting different time zones using Buffer, because you can plan in, say, at 4 o'clock in the morning in Singapore time is actually 4 p.m. New York time, for example, and early morning in Auckland, for example. So you basically look at the different time zones and do it that way around. But you always have to be thinking, I've shared a post about, say, black marketing, I need to share something about the industry or something else to get engagement. Otherwise you risk people unfollowing you. So you have to be quite disciplined about how you do it. So don't just do jobs like the HR teams or those company pages. They're missing the trick. Don't do that to engage. Actually share relevant content that people can share. Because I'm not going to share that Kathmandu assistant for AirAsia post, but I might share something on AirAsia if they talked about Singapore employment law, for example, or Singapore technology, or how Singapore technology was benefiting AirAsia. So you've got to really think it through in terms of how you want to communicate your personal and your company brand. Yeah.
You said one was Buffer, what was the other one?
Hootsuite. Yeah, Hootsuite and Buffer. They're slightly different. I find Buffer easier to use. Hootsuite has more data, is more sophisticated, but they're both very, very good. And you can get a free version, you can get like a $10, $15 a month version. They're both very useful. Good.
Quick question. Our industry typically is wealth management. We like to stay relatively discreet in our approach and what we're doing, who we are, etc. Our clients. So we like a lot of confidentiality. So how do we balance this, I'd say, extreme marketing, public profile, etc., with the other side of our business, which needs to stay discreet, even though we know a lot of our clients look us up on the internet.
It's precisely your lack of point. It's a very, very good question. And we work for several wealth managements and people in finance and family offices, for example, and we get around the problem by actually sharing relevant content that is relevant to their people they're trying to influence, so relevant to them rather than about the individual business. So not giving out any secrets, any confidentiality, but say talking about Singapore innovation or Singapore fintech or the industry, about how Singapore compares with Hong Kong. So you make it relevant to the people you're trying to influence without giving away anything confidential, whilst building up your own personal branding. And that's absolutely key, because as you pointed out, people are Googling you, people are finding you on LinkedIn by using keywords, and you're competing to a larger or lesser extent with each other and other people out there. So what's going to differentiate you is your personal branding, it's your content, it's your thought leadership, it's how you appear as your personal brand. So you have to really think through your values, and there are plenty of financial people out there who've got tens of thousands of followers because people are following them for their insights into the world of finance. So that's presenting you as a leader, and someone's like, I like that blog, I like her thoughts, I want to follow her, and I'm more likely to engage with her as a result of that. So it's ultimately social selling. She's giving, and you're going to think about her to invest with, for example, or partner with as an asset manager. Yeah. Yeah. Very good question. Yeah, basically you can have, I think it's like 67 languages now you can have LinkedIn in. So if you really want to, you can rewrite your profile in French or Bahasa, Bahasa, Mandarin, Cantonese, whatever you want to do. You can also write posts in double language. So we have lots of clients in Germany, for example, and we end up writing posts in both German and English. One for their home market and one for their international market. But many people just want to do English because business Englishes tend to be read by most people. But if you want to get a specific audience, you can do like a French post, for example. But you must know that obviously your engagement factor is going to be less. So you might want to do a French post followed by an English post, or do a post in both languages. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. If you do that, then basically LinkedIn will just delete you. Believe me, I've tried. I've tried opening several profiles, it doesn't work. Because when I hit my 30,000, I thought, right, I'm going to open another profile in Hong Kong. And within a day, they said, Chris, you've opened another profile in Hong Kong. Damn! So I opened a profile in Shanghai, it's a woman. I thought, they'll never get me this time. So within one day, they said, Chris, you've opened another profile in Shanghai. You can't do this. I gave up. So you basically, they will find you if you've got a duplicate profile. So no, just do your language. LinkedIn now allows you to have different languages for your profile. Just do your language in all the different areas, all the different languages you need to, that you think are basically going to open you up in. It just takes a bit of time and effort. They don't do it automatically. You have to actually write it out in a different language, which is probably no bad thing given Google Translate. A question?
Premium profiles.
Yeah.
How many in an organization should have them, and who should they be?
It's a very good question. I had a client who's not in a dissimilar industry to you, and LinkedIn had sold her 10 Sales Navigators. And she came to me and said, no one's using Sales Navigator very well. how can you help me? So we had a look at all her profiles of all her team. And I said, give me your best profile. She said, this person here. I said, she's an intern. Why did you buy a premium for an intern? I know, but she's really using Sales Navigator. And I said, she's got 7 connections. Best will in the world. She can reach about 100 people. And they're probably also interns. They're not going to do much good. So basically, she bought 10 licenses when she only needed 2 or 1. They should really just be for the founder, or the co-founder, or the CMO. Because they're the ones that are actually going to be used in the marketing. It's the whole Arne Sorrison, Rico de Blanc, Richard Branson scenario. You basically buy from the leader. So we manage CEOs' profiles, we manage founders' profiles, because that way we present them as a leader, people want to engage with them, and you can sell the services and get somebody else to attend the meeting, but actually you get in by enhancing the personal brand of the leader, the CEO. That's why Richard Branson spends so much time, or his team, sorry, spends so much time on LinkedIn. Through Richard Branson, not through Virgin Atlantic page or Virgin Money pages. That's the key. It's all about, so I would say buy less, buy 1 for the founder or the CMO, and that's it, you don't need any more.
Hashtag. How do I word it so it actually improves my visibility?
That's an excellent question as well. So LinkedIn now have a series of hashtags which you can actually follow. And if you basically, like social media is a hashtag, for example. So if you hashtag your content, social media, every single person who's following social media on LinkedIn will see your feed, you'll see your post. So if you want something to basically be found as a result of your keywords, you can basically just hashtag it and it comes up. And then you can own your own hashtags. So I can own, bizarrely, entrepreneur is not a hashtag on LinkedIn, but entrepreneurship is. So when I do a post, I do entrepreneur because I want to own that. And I also do entrepreneurship because LinkedIn already has that as a feed. So that's the bizarre thing about they don't have social selling as a hashtag, even though they promote social selling. So I just use social selling everywhere. So if somebody puts social selling into LinkedIn, they find all my posts. So they do have personal branding, for example. So again, I use the hashtag personal branding. So you have to basically see what LinkedIn have got, but then also make your own up depending on your own SEO. So actually, the more the better. Yes?
When you publish an article, how do you ensure that you reach out to maximum number of people after publishing it?
Excellent question. So basically, the best way of doing that is you publish a long form post, and then you basically do a short form post, promoting the long form post, and then tag people. So exactly what Andrew Pickup does. You look at Andrew Pickup, he's fantastic at doing that. He'll basically tag like 100 people in Microsoft. So he had a delegation from Brazil last week, for example, who came over, so he tagged every single person in it. As a result of that, they all got notifications and they all tagged it and they all shared it too, which made it go viral. So he ended up getting like 50,000 views for a simple photograph of a post because it featured every single person. So if you tag people and you do hashtags, as this young woman actually asked about as well, you're hitting both the areas to go viral. Ultimately, your content will succeed. So if you still write a very boring post, no one's going to basically be sharing it. But if it's interesting and lively and provocative, and you hashtag it and you tag people, then it will go viral. And that's the key. You've got to provide compelling content that somebody actually wants to hashtag. Because people tag me all the time because I've got 55,000 followers. So I can basically make or break a post. But if it's boring content, I won't share it. And in fact, I'll take off. You can actually remove your tag on someone's post. So I've often removed my own tag so people can't actually go through from his post to me. So you can actually have influence over that. So basically make it great content. That's the key to it. That's absolutely the key to every kind of social media, make it great content. Yes?
What you are involved with more than one company?
Well, I have multiple companies and I list them all on LinkedIn. That's why I think currently I have 200 positions on LinkedIn because I list all my companies in all my countries. And I even list, for example, Social Selling 2018 as a different company as well. So the more you list, the better, because your SEO actually goes up.
And how do you brand it?
Well, that goes down to your priorities and focus at the time. So my focus at the moment, this week, is Social Selling 2018. So that's my headline, that's my current job, that's my blog. So I've coordinated that. But last week, it would have been black marketing, or the week before would have been the fact the book came out, for example. So you alternate it. So when social selling is over on Friday night, I will change mine, put it back to black marketing. Because my focus next week will be to capitalize on who goes to social selling to see if we can pick up clients and get the benefit of having the event. So you do that by actually changing your position. You put one up and one down, and you change your headline. So that's why I change my headline on a daily basis. So you just got to think where your focus is, and then change it depending on your activity and your marketing.
Yeah, but then we don't confuse the people that
You won't confuse them, you'll just basically be focusing on a slightly different market. So it's all about which market you want to hit at a particular time. It's like any advertising campaign, you have to basically might have 10 advertising campaigns for different products you sell, different services, different aspects you want to engage with. Any questions over here? Yes?
Great insights. So how do you charge?
We charge a monthly fee. So we charge anything from $2,000 to $4,000 a month, or 3 months, 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, you get more benefits, more discounts over a longer period of time. But you can just trial us for a month. You know, you can see what we're like, or you can just do a LinkedIn profile makeover for you if you want to. So you can really try, see my team. We're up in Cecil Street, it's not far away, there's 32 of us there. We do a content team, some of the content team are here. Matthew and Lena, for example, do my videos and do our blogs and controls the blogs. And they're here, you know, seeing my presentation for the 55th time. Any other questions? Yes?
Filter or a verification of what's put in content blocks, if it's truthful or if it's like influencing people in a way which should be banned.
I mean, you talk about fake news. So basically, it's a very interesting question that LinkedIn doesn't really have any fake news. There's a big article last week, and I think it was in the Wall Street Journal and The Guardian, about how the fact that Facebook has fake news, Twitter has fake news, Instagram has fake news, and LinkedIn doesn't have fake news. I think because there are so many people on there who basically are substantiated to their real accounts to start off with. And they're also substantiated in terms of if somebody sees something that's clearly not correct, you just have to report it to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will remove it. So basically LinkedIn are very hot on removing fake profiles. They removed, I don't know if you saw this last week, they removed 50 Chinese profiles last week because they were using it for spying on the US, which I found hilarious. So they've got problems with the Russians and the Chinese now taking over social media. It's like 44 profiles. They managed to squeeze in there to actually kind of, they were building up relationships with the US agents and flirting with them basically to get access to information. It's actually hilarious. But they deleted them, so it ruined all the fun. But they basically, it's a great filter. You don't tend to see, and I haven't seen any fake news on LinkedIn, because you tend to get called out by the members. Because the members are more professional, they're more educated, and just by the definition of they tend to be more kind of more white collar. So they just tend to be kind of more educated, more aware of what is fake and what is not, and they're quite happy to call out fake news. Whereas I think on Facebook and other places they're more kind of like more easily influenced, shall we say. So it's very, very interesting that, you know, touch wood, LinkedIn hasn't really suffered for fake news, and they're very aware of it, so they have lots of people looking out for it. And it's also very easy to report fake news on LinkedIn. I've reported profiles, but never reported any articles. That's a good question. Any questions over here? Yes?
Balance between time invested in the founder's page versus corporate company page.
Okay, so the best example, and I didn't show that today, but the best example is the LinkedIn company page. Okay, so LinkedIn company page. So bearing in mind that you all may be on LinkedIn. Okay, how many of you are actually following the LinkedIn company page? 2 of you. Yeah, precisely. So LinkedIn have 600 million people on LinkedIn. Only 4 million actually follow the LinkedIn page on LinkedIn. So if LinkedIn themselves can't get you to follow their LinkedIn page on their own platform, what hope have you got of getting people to follow your company page? That's why LinkedIn spend an enormous amount of time kind of getting you to say, no, do advertising. It doesn't work. Because people don't follow company pages on LinkedIn, not even LinkedIn's own page on their own platforms. They follow people, they follow you. So I would say do 99% of activity on your profile and do 1% on your company page. You need to have its substantiation, and it's free anyway, and put the odd article up there, but don't expect much engagement. Don't expect much going to happen to it. Focus more on your personal page. People buy people, they're not buying companies, they're buying you. Any questions over here? Reach out to anything else? Oh, we have a lucky draw, we have a prize draw. Steve, yes, don't forget that.
That's really cool. Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
so there is a lucky draw. Basically, I think if you came and you dropped your business card into this bowl, this fishbowl. So basically, there's a coffee machine up for grabs, as well as 4 packs of coffee, which is the 101 Cafe. 101 Cafe is a brand, is a new brand in Singapore, with a shop opening soon in Singapore, guys. But you can mostly Thank you, Felix, for bringing along this coffee and sponsoring the cafe.
Models at the back.
So yeah, so basically, Chris, how about you?
Sure.
Without looking.
Ah, okay, of course.
Yeah, go ahead. So
Okay, and the winner is Abigail Wong.
Well, thank you all for listening.
There's your coffee coming. Good. Do you want a photograph, Abigail? Yes, put it in your LinkedIn, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's do.
All right.
Please get in.
Hey, smart company. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, well done, Abigail. Look at that. Fantastic.